right, guys, we're up here at one of our projects, about an hour-ish so north of the home headquarters of Sycon. Kind of a little far up from where our normal working history is, but big shout out, Van Keppel came up, standing in front of a Hyundai or a Devlon, basically the same machine, different label across so many different other iron makers. They're running this almost identical product, but if you're wondering about the DD100, DD130 is what they brought. This is an HD130, apologies. Hyundai model. We've been running water and storm drain. We've got some ditches to clean up and some spoils to clean up. They're like, hey man, you mind if we drop this dozer? Would you run it for a couple hours and give us some feedback? I'm like, you bet. The boys are really excited about it and to hear about it. Obviously, not necessarily in the market for a dozer currently myself, channel you know, but at the same time, this is always great feedback for you guys. When you guys are in the market, Van Keppel has been a fantastic dealer. One of the first, actually the first, when I stepped out of the Mini X and skid steer market and went into like the 140 class machine, I had to buy a Sani because we dropped a tree on it. It's a long story, but if you're an OG member of the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Clint, Landon, with Van Keppel, they came up. They're not gonna leave a good salesman alone, huh, boss? But they came up, dropped the machine. I'm gonna spend a couple hours in it myself. The crew's gonna spend the rest of the time in it, but I'm excited to check out the visibility. But tell us everything about these machines. They're new to the market. The Devlon name, the Hyundai name. You know, all of this is coming at us pretty quickly. Obviously, it looks very similar to a Komatsu. Even cats are going to that slanted nose look, right? Everybody's seems to be racing that race, but man, everything, I can't really pick this thing apart. It looks extremely heavy duty, so start us wherever.
So first thing you'll notice is the cylinders on these are a little bit bigger than, you know, our competitor size, like, you know, our cat and the Komatsu. So we'll come over here. Now typically you'll see on our competitors, their fill up is on top where they put the diesel in and def and stuff like that right here. Super easy access. We actually have a light right here that's gonna light up whenever.
What access is that? Obviously that's def, but what else is right there that we're filling up fluid wise?
Def and diesel right here.
Okay, diesel fill up is right there.
Then we have hydraulic right here.
Fair enough, all in one spot. First thing or the end of the day.
Something else cool about Hyundai is you go and you might break a wire or something. Everything is labeled. So all the wires on everything is labeled.
How about hoses?
Hoses.
Hey,
yep.
Let's go. Yep. Absolutely. No, you're fine.
There's a light right here that tells you when you're full. That way you don't blow diesel all over you and on your tractor.
Really?
So, engine's got a Perkins 157 horsepower Perkins in it. So your D51's got the Komatsu 130 horsepower. So this one's just a little bit bigger.
Perkins is a great name too.
A little bit heavier machine. So.
Has been for a very long time.
Been around forever.
Nothing too crazy down the rail here though. Down on the undercarriage, you've got the same walking beam is what I call it. That's probably not appropriate, but there's essentially a bar that runs track to track.
Correct.
I think it's called the K-bar setup on the Komatsus. I may be completely butchering that. Okay,
right.
Clint would know. But at the same time, man, huge difference on your back at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The other thing, I've seen a ton of bolts, like more than normal it seems like. Is that a 2-piece sprocket or is that a solid 1-piece? It looks small.
It'll have 3 and 4, or 4 and 5, so it's different segments.
Okay.
And,
thinking service-wise, you know what I mean? A lot of these guys, you know, as you guys know me and we've talked about it in length, I've got all my machines set up, PM agreements, warranty, you guys got to worry about it, right? But there's so many people in the country that still are on that, I want the cheapest payment possible and have got to be worried about maintaining that sprocket. And so that's exactly why I asked. And obviously, grease point on your tracks, but nothing else, no hoses, nothing. It looks all solid drive back through, like it's awesome.
Very clean.
Very, very clean.
Yes,
looks
sir.
solid too.
Yep.
Not like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not busting on Hyundai, but they ain't been making dozers for 100 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm gonna pick it apart. So are these guys, you know, on the camera. And in my first initial thought, I'm thinking Hyundai, I'm thinking, yeah, they're gonna cheap out somewhere. But I'm walking through this thing and there ain't nothing light duty about that sprocket, and then thinking about the overall end customer and doing 4 or 5 segments, it's really cool. Maybe just one piece busts instead of the whole thing, and get a little bit more longevity of it. But huge clearance. I understand it's the 130 model, but like, there's a ton of room there. Keep dirt off the, all the way getting up and built up, but it won't take long in a mud hole.
Absolutely.
Everything right here is bolted, so engine access is on the other side, correct?
The other side, right here in the front.
Yeah.
I think this is a 12mm bolt. This is where your oil.
That bolt's right there.
Yeah.
Air filters up here.
Air filter's on the side.
Yep.
This is fuel.
Oil filter.
Fuel. No, your oil's on back here.
Fair enough.
Fuel and water.
Sorry, I had that all mixed up, but fuel and water's right up there. Easy access. Very odd. This is a little recognizable up here. I'm not gonna lie. And I had 0 complaints about the very similar setup that we ran 3,000 hours through. You know what I mean? It was very clean. As long as you kept, it did like to pack. If you're really running some material, it would like to pack right here. Like to get that cleaned out. But man, all the grease points are right here. I also want to point out that I absolutely love your basically one stop says all. You got these little red caps. They won't last forever, but you can see them all for the camera. Is what I was saying. Red cap, they're all right there. So you're not having to climb all over this thing to grease. There may be one more. There is right here on this side and this side for your main pivots, but your intricacies are all tucked right there. Easy maintenance. They're starting to think about those things as they're making them now. You know what I mean? Love that. What is, I'm assuming this is our GPS sensor? This is
Yeah, it's 2D assist.
right here?
Yep, there and
Right here, and then one on the blade.
correct.
Got it. And that runs. So this has got a 2D system built in it.
Yes.
Understood?
Standard.
Okay. I like how they at least got those cables tucked up in here, ran right up through there. There's a couple of hoses for the blade. Grease points. It looks very easily maintainable is where I'm trying to head with that. You know what I mean? For a guy that's used to maybe some older gear and crawling all over hell and back just to keep it greased.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So what are we working with here?
Right here we're gonna have some fluids. This is gonna be your master switch. Turn that on and turn that off. But right here, you're gonna take off 2 bolts, and then you just flip this switch and the whole cab's gonna come up for service.
That's sick. That is really sick.
So I think that's one of their main focuses is serviceability for you guys.
Noticing.
Out in the field, so.
No, that's really cool. And this is just, I'm assuming, window washer fluid, and I don't know
You're
what
right.
that is. But that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, not only for you guys working on your own stuff, just think about that shop rate when that guy's out there working on your stuff. If it's you're fighting to get in through 2 equipment panels in there to change whatever, be able to just lift the cab up all hydraulically. That's slick, dude.
It
Is that HD130 the same way?
is. It is.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. Master switch disconnect. Nothing else. Basically everything electrical's on this side, from what I'm seeing. Cool. Coolant pack right here. Ripper hookups. Is that standard? Okay. And then hydraulic hookups already to go as well. That's standard on a machine. Okay. Hey, very easy to get to. Like that. Like that. Huh. Beautiful. It's very maintainable. There's a purpose for that damn door, though. There's like a little, I don't know what that is. No, that's really cool, man. You got all your diesel set up. I like how, to be honest with you, this is something else that a lot of guys don't think about. On the Cat that we just had rented for quite some time, the diesel Phillips on the back. Yep.
Pours all over you when it's full every time.
Pours all over you, but not only that, diesel slippery, right? So we're having a guy stand on tracks, trying to maintain 3 points, trying to run a hose into, the funnel, but at the same time, like, this is nice. I'm standing on ground level. I can fill my machine, get my def done, check my hydraulics, and get in and start working, you know what I mean? So, no, let's check out the old cab. I will tell you, it doesn't feel as heavy as those Komatsu doors. You know what I mean? That's where you had to freaking slam them, but that's bad to the bone right there. When I say that, I'm not taking away from the door frame. I mean, it's not heavy duty. You know what I mean? Fits the model. This is nice, dude. Really nice. Wow. Wow, the visibility's insane. Screen, what we got here?
That's going to be, so whenever you do get to 3D, this is going to replace that.
Understood. We've got a whole bunch of buttons over here. Obviously, just track settings, I'm assuming.
Yep, so that one's going to be your forward and reverse, and then, yep, so you pull back on it. And then, but the only thing that we've ever really had,
Okay, gotcha.
I guess like nitpick-wise, is how easy it is to slip that back into neutral.
Yeah.
But some people don't mind that. Some people do like that. It's going to be your speed on that one.
The thumb wheel is the speed, not these two?
No.
Correct? Okay. You probably change that setting if you wanted.
I think you
Okay.
can. This thing's got a
You
lot
got
of
3
stuff that you can
buttons and a
change in.
thumb wheel over here, and then an index thumb wheel. It's kind of comfy, actually. Up, down, left, right, but no. So it's going to be some type of thumb wheel for left to right. I like manual buttons. I don't get me wrong, love the touch screen, love the cleanliness of that. But here's the thing, after you work in a machine and it's got 3,000 or 4,000 hours on it, you want to be able to punch the button and it still work, because the same button on your touch screen is going to be a little wore out. So I do like the manual button layout. I like how it's all right there. You got park and brake, hydraulics, throttle up and down. Big old hefty key. Can these be coded machines as well with no key? Gotta say, comfortable. You've got
Yeah, you can switch
manual
that
up and down here settings. Little thumb wheel there. But no, that's comfortable, man. I gotta say, well, go come all the way back. Big man approved. Like, comfortable. The visibility's tip to tip on the blade is, I mean, it's had a few hours in that Komatsu, you know what I mean? It feels like your blade is a little bit further out, to be honest with you, like out in front of you rather than tucked up close to your tracks. I feel like initially there's more visibility to the back of your blade, which Dozer operators, that's pretty much all they care about when they're not running GPS, but it feels like you can see more of the, you know, the bottom and back of your blade than it being so tucked against you. So that's really cool. I didn't bring my metas back with me. I'll grab those.
Any questions?
No, for sure. I'm gonna go grab my metas really quick and grab my drink, and I'm gonna go put this to work.
All right.